what I want to say? I want to tell you something that just came to my spirit. Healthy people want you happy. Healthy people, they want you happy and healthy as well. Healthy people do not get upset when you are in joy. Toxic people, when you're happy, they seem miserable or unhappy. When you're in pain, miserable, or suffering, they seem at their happiest. Right? Toxic people thrive off of drama and creating chaos. Healthy people try to stay away from that. Right? Having the peace of God in your life is a sign of being healthy. You know, you don't thrive off of chaos. And toxic people will drain the life out of you and will never push you or be satisfied with you becoming greater, becoming better over time, you know, because we don't stay the same. We go from level to level, glory to glory. We're supposed to get stronger. We're supposed to become wiser. We're supposed to learn from our mistakes. We're supposed to be able to have healthy conversations and be able to talk about the good, the bad, just have just grow and evolve, you know. But a toxic person wants you to stay the same, and they will try to cap you or put a limit on your growth. And when you begin to grow, sometimes you really begin to see their toxicity. One example that came to me as I was just sitting here riding along thinking, Laban and Jacob is a perfect example. You see, Laban was a very toxic man. So toxic, he didn't even love his own daughters. He was selfish. He had selfish ambition, you know. Jacob wanted Rachel, and he was manipulative. He deceived Jacob and gave him Leah, so he didn't have no integrity, right? He didn't have no integrity about himself. Jacob went to him like a man and told him he wanted Rachel, and yet rather than honoring Jacob after he had Jacob work for 7 years, that's a long time. 7 is the number of completion. But what he did was he knew that he was blessed. He knew Jacob was blessed. And as long as Jacob could stay under his control, under his command, and he could have a level of control over Jacob, he knew that he would reap the blessing off of Jacob's hard work, off of Jacob's life. But Jacob wasn't happy. He worked for the initial 7 years, you know, but over time he saw where Laban kept dealing with him treacherously, and he wasn't happy being under that, you know, being under Laban. And so Laban even went to look into divination and told Jacob, he said, I know I've been blessed because of you. See, he knew Jacob had the blessing of the father, the favor of the father upon his life, right? And so he didn't want to let Jacob go. He was toxic. He even sold his daughters off, deceptively, setting Leah up for rejection because Jacob never wanted her. But Jacob, being the man and he was of character, he kept, Leah, but it was her father that set that thing up deceptively. She had to deal with that for the rest of her life. Had those sisters competing against each other, because of what the father did. And so Jacob finally broke himself free from Laban, but then Laban still did not want to let Jacob go. Jacob wasn't happy under Laban. When Jacob was working under him and he was using Jacob, being blessed off of Jacob, Laban was happy, but Jacob wasn't. He wasn't satisfied. He wasn't fulfilled. He knew that he deserved more, And so when he finally broke free and decided to go his own way, Laban constantly harassed him and followed him and watched him and even tried to cause problems for him because he didn't want to let him go. Jacob was the blessed man. Laban was toxic, you see? So he wanted to spread his misery and cause misery into Jacob's life simply because Jacob wanted to part ways from him. That's what toxic people do, And so understand that when you begin to love yourself, when you begin to grow even more, mentally, spiritually. When God continues to bless you and elevate you, because when you have the favor of the Father on your life, you will be blessed. All of the setbacks sometimes that we experience in life is sometimes because we come across Labans in life, and we don't cut them off soon enough, and they drain you and they take from you and they come up off of you. But when you cut Laban, every time you cut a dark force and you get back to your center, you begin to grow again. Your joy returns, your peace returns. God will restore you. Sometimes you receive restoration, even if that's just restoration of joy, restoration of peace, restoration of prosperity, mind, body, and soul. God will always bless you and favor you, because that's what's upon your life. He's with you. He's pleased with your heart. But you got to understand that anytime you see somebody who is not happy at you becoming better, at you growing, when you're happy, you can't be happy at the same time. You can't go 24 hours without feeling your peace and your joy sucked out of you when you come in contact with them. That's not a healthy connection, right? And so I want you to be wise as doves, gentle as doves, wise as a serpent. When you move in this earth, be very wise as you go forward, because when you cut off toxic connections, you're going to see yourself beginning to draw healthier connections, with people who are healthy, people who are centered, just like your spirit is centered, have a pure heart. They love the same God that you love, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There is no pretending. You're going to be able to discern it when you do come in contact with disingenuous connections. Why? Because your pain, your trials, your tribulations from the past, they've all taught you. So it was necessary. See, God used the enemies as stepping stools, right? God used the enemies as stepping stools, because a lot of times when you go through certain things, you have to learn how to overcome betrayals and painful situations and dealing with evil people. But when you make it through those situations, you're stronger. They were like a lesson, and you just step right up over them. Once you overcome and you disengage and you keep moving, you just step over them. That's all. It's just training grounds. But know the difference, and always remember that going forward, as you go forward in your future endeavors in life. Many of you are going to be very successful. Some of you already are very successful, but there's other things that you have planned for yourself, and I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you well. I want to see you do good. I've never been a type of person to wish evil on nobody. That's not in my heart. It's not in my soul. I want to see God's people prosper and flourish. The meek shall inherit the earth. The righteous shall be recompensed in the earth while you are here in the earth. God wants the best for you. But understand, toxic people will get connected to you and try to hold you captive. And it's a fight sometimes to break free. Jacob had to break free from Laban. Let that story encourage you. There's nothing new under the sun. All right? So anyway, that's just what was on my spirit. Y'all continue having a blessed day. Nobody told you that they love you, then your little country bumpkin sister has told you. You are loved. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You the first. You ain't the last. You ain't never going to be the last, because you's a kingdom child. God love you so much that even the very hairs on your head is numbered, baby. Just keep on moving.